Welcome to Python Programming Language video tutorials by Shine India Pvt Limited. I am your Posubabu Sir, Technical Quant Logical Reasoning Trainer. In my previous tutorial, I have discussed about list aliasing and list cloning. So in this presentation, I would like to discuss special cases under this list cloning. Let me write it same. So list cloning, we have discussed already in my previous presentation. So this is technically we can call it as what cloning. So generally we can call it as copy. So under this list cloning, so we have to discuss some special cases. So prior to discuss about this special cases, so let us recall this copy method once. So for that, let's go back to my IDE and take one list object that is A and write some child objects here 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, right? So I have taken some 5 elements which are there in list A. Now let us create a duplicate copy of A using this copy method. So as we discussed the syntax already, that is list name dot copy. Now let us print A and print B and execute it. So you will be getting the same right here. So A and B in both are same. So it is what a duplicate copy of A. So as we discussed already in my previous presentation, modifications that we are doing in one list object not reflects in other, right? So that is, let me take here. So A of 2, I'm changing it as some 100. Now let me execute it. Now change happened in A, but it not reflected in B. Right? So this is what a general case that we have discussed in my previous presentation. Now, so let us copy the same thing and paste it here. Now, let us take a nested list over here. So in this list object, I'm taking nested list. So instead of 40, so I'm going to take one sub list over here, right? So I have taken one list over here. Now, let us modify the elements which are there in this nested list. Now, I just want to access one. So how do you access, right? So what thing you have to write here? Let me write here. So A of, so this element is located in which index number? So it is at 0, 1, 2, and it is at 3. So write here 3. Now again, take one more subscript. Now, if you want to access this element, so this element is at 0th index. So now let us write a 0. So which means you will be getting what here? So let me print so that you could understand. So print A of 3 of 0. So which means what you will be getting 1, right? So we have accessed this element. Now I just want to modify this 1. So for that, so we just try to use equal to operator here and write some 100, which means what? I would like to modify this 1 as 100. So I hope you could understand what I have written, right? So now let me erase this and execute it. Now you could see, so we made modification in list object A, but it reflects in B as well. You could see over here, right? So we got 100 here and here also 100. So in B also change happened. So this is what a shallow copy. This kind of copy operation, we can call it as a shallow copy, right? Now, let me do one more modification in B. So we have some individual elements. Let's do modification in B. Now, is it reflects in A? Let us see. So for that, I'm writing here. So B of 1, index number 1, whatever the element is there that I would like to replace with a 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you could see. So in B, we got one modification here, 1, 2, 3, 4, but it is not reflected in A. So I hope you could understand what I have conveyed. So this kind of copy operation, we can call it as shallow copy. So in general, when we don't have any nested list over here, so This is what a normal copy method. This is what normal copy method, right? So in normal copy method, whatever the changes we are performing in list object A, not reflected in B. When shallow copy comes into picture, so whenever we have a nested list, shallow copy comes into picture. So we have other copy method as well. So let me go back here, and we have two types of copies. Let me write here. So we have two types. So one is shallow copy, and second one is deep copy. So these two comes into picture when we have nested list. When we have nested list, so these two will be comes into picture. So I hope you could understand what I have conveyed. Now in shallow copy, what happened? So the special case with respect to what? With respect to nested list. With respect to nested list, right? So in this nested list, so we are going to do modification, right? So if modifications done on what the elements in the nested list. So it leads to what? It leads to do modifications or reflections on both. So reflected in both the lists, in both the lists. So that is what we have learned, right? So we have taken one list first, that is some 1, 2, 3, and I have taken 1, comma 2, comma some 4, right? So if we wish to do modification here, so let us create one duplicate copy, that is, so B is equal to A dot copy, right? Now, if you want to make change here, what happened here, you have to write, so A of 0, 1, 2, 3, A of 3 of 0, so which is equal to some 100. So when you do some modification in A, it also reflects in B, right? So when we have a nested list, so that is what we would like to convey here. So this kind of copy method, we can call it as what? Shallow copy. So hope everybody understood about this shallow copy. So this can be performed using this module as well. So we have a module called copy module. Using that module also, you could do the same operation. So what we got here, the similar thing can be done using copy module as well. So let me erase it. Let me erase it. And so let me explain. So using copy module, so how can we do a shallow copy? So for that, first you have to import copy module. So this is what module name. Let me write here. So this is module name, right? Now let us take some A is equal to, so I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, comma. So let us take 1, comma 2 and 4. So next list is there, right? Now create a duplicate copy. So that is what B, which is equal to. Now I would like to use this copy module. So when you are using this copy module, the syntax is what? Module name dot. You have to write module name dot. What is the module name? Copy. So for that, first let us write here copy. So this is what the module name. So this is module name. Module name. So copy dot. So in this module, we have a method called copy. We have a method called copy. This is what method. So copy method is there in this copy module. So so in which we would like to copy over here, that is what A. So pass A here. So list object A I have passed here. So if you print A, and print B, so it will be working like a similar way as we discussed so prior to this module, right? Now let me execute it so that you could understand. So let us go to my IDE here. So let me copy this nested list. So and remove this. Now, first what we have to do, we need to import a module called copy. So once imported, now let us take one list that is A. Now create a duplicate copy using this copy module. For that, you have to write module name dot. So method is what? Copy method. So what list object we are creating a duplicate copy? So A, right? So now let us print A and then print B as well. Now execute it. So we got it, right? Now let us do some modifications in this next list object. So for that, I'm writing here. So A of, so 0, 1, 2, 3. So at 3 and index number 1, let us modify it. So which means at 2, I just want to get, so 9876, 9876, right? Now let me execute it. Now you see, change happened in A, reflected in B as well. So I hope you could understand. Now, if you are going to modify the individual elements, let us modify. So A of 2, A of 2 is equal to some 100. Now, let me execute it. Now, in this case, only list A, we got the modification. No change in list B. But when coming to the next list, a modification reflected. So this kind of copy method, we can call it as what? Shallow copy, right? Now, why this is happened here? So let us discuss in detail. So first, let us take a list object that is A. Let us take one list object A, right? And let us create a duplicate copy of A that is B. So let us draw here the list object A. So we are creating duplicate copy of this one. So that is what B, right? So in this list object A, so we have elements that is 1, 2, 3, and then so one nested list and 4. So this list object, so A creates one list object, B creates one list object. So we have same elements, right? Because it is what? Duplicate copy. So 3, 1, 2, 4. Now, you just try to observe here. We have one more list in this list object. So when we have one more list, and this also creates one list object, let me draw it, right? So in shallow copy, what will happen here is, so here one list we have, and here also one list we have. So since we have lists over here, both points same list object, right? So in shallow copy, so this list and this list both points what? The same list object, same list object, right? That is the reason. So whatever the modifications we are performing on this list object, it reflects in B as well. So modification that we do for this list, next list, so it will be reflected in B because memory location remains the same for these list objects. So that is what I just want to convey here. So that is the reason. So we got the modification in both the things. But these are the child objects or individual elements, right? So here, copy method directly works, right? So whatever the modification we are doing here, it won't reflect in B. But for this nested list, so we have same memory location, right? So we have same memory location. So that is the reason. So we got the changes in both the cases. So this kind of copy method, we can call it as what? Shallow copy. Do remember this one. Now let us discuss deep copy. So let's go back to my IDE. Now you could see over here, whatever the change we are making, we are doing in this next list, so which is reflecting in B. So I don't want that, right? So in this case, deep copy comes into picture. So in this deep copy, so in this copy module, we have a deep copy method. So you have to write here deep copy, right? Now you just try to execute it so that you could understand now, right? Now we made change over here, which is not reflected in B. So 9876, we made change in at particular this element, right? So, but this won't be reflected in list object B. So I hope you could understand. So changes made in A, not reflected in B. So that is what deep copy. So do remember this one. So I hope everybody clearly understood what is a deep copy. It is clear to everybody. So now what will happen? So let me explain in detail. Right? So in deep copy, so what is going to happen? Let us take A is a list. Let me write here. So A is the list and B is the duplicate copy of A. So A creates what? Here one list object and B also creates one list object. Now in A we have certain elements, right? So here 1 comma 2, here some 4, here 1 comma 2 comma 3, 1 comma 2 and then 4, right? Now here it is what a list and it is what a list. Since it is a list, so it creates one more list object, one more list object. So that is what this one. It is also list, so it also creates one more list object, right? I hope you could understand now, right? Now we have different addresses now. When we have a different addresses, so mean that the change we are going to perform here won't reflect in B. Now suppose in this particular element, so we have one more list, right? So 1 comma 2 comma, here one more list I have taken. So in this particular case, again, suppose let me take this element as, let me write here, 1, 2, and then 1, 2. This is what the element we have here, right? So for this list, we have created one object here, but here we have 1, 2, again 1 comma 2, and this is what one more list. Again, this list will create one more list object, one more list object, right? So it will be creating list objects recursively. So if the next list is having one more list and so on. So I hope you could understand. So for every object, so memory location is different. So hence the changes we are going to do in list A not reflected in B. So I hope the idea of deep copy is clear to everybody. Now, in a nutshell, let me explain it. So in shallow copy, what is going to happen in shallow copy? So let me take one list 10, 20, 30, and 1 comma 2, some 40, right? Now, let us write here B is equal to copy module, right? So we have to use a module called copy. So we have to import that one, import the copy. So copy dot copy of A, right? So in this case, whatever the change that we are going to do at particular index number, suppose I modified here, right? So the change happened here will be reflecting in B because we have a nested list. When nested list comes, when nested lists are there, then only shallow copy or deep copy comes into picture. So when we have nested list, then only either shallow copy or deep copy comes into picture. So here we have a nested list. Hence we got shallow copy or deep copy. So in this case, we are discussing shallow copy, which means the change happened in A, so reflects in B, which means the outputs you will be getting here. So if you are writing here print A and print B, so the outputs will be remains the same 10, 20, 30, and then 1 comma 1000 comma 40, right? So if it is a deep copy, the change will happen where? Here, right? So let me copy it. Now you could see here, if it is a deep copy, so let me write here, deep copy. If it is a deep copy, so we will be getting different output, right? So this is what the output for A, and output for B is 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 1 comma 2 comma 40. So this is what deep copy, right? So let me write here. It is what? Deep copy. So I hope everybody clearly understood what is shallow copy and what is deep copy. So if you clearly understood, and if you like my videos, please share and subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.